So Pokemon Pocket just put out an official statement on Twitter explaining more information on how trading will work. We just received leaks last week kind of covering this, but this officially confirms it and adds a lot more information. So let's get right into it. So as you can see, this statement is from Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, and what it says is they have some plans for future updates. So let's get right into it. I'll read it out and then I'll explain what some of this means. So this first section is just them thanking us for playing the game, but where it gets interesting is where they say, today we want to provide you more details on the new trade feature coming your way this month. Here are a few highlights you can look forward to. So they said this month. We don't know an exact date yet, but the leaks so far have said that the A2 set is releasing on January 29th. So I'm assuming that this update will also be dropped into the game at the exact same time. I expect to see trading released on the 29th. Also, that would make the most sense to me. They're not going to just do two separate updates. It's just going to be one massive update, which I love to see, because as of right now, the game is kind of lacking some in-game features and events that keep people playing. But if they're planning on dropping massive updates like this every month or every other month, that's going to kind of keep the game alive. And I think trading is going to be huge, and I'll explain that later on. But first off, the first bulletin point here says trades can be done between friends. So we kind of knew this. I mean, that's how I figured it would be launched into the game. I didn't expect them to make a whole separate trading section where you randomly queue up with someone. So you do need to know someone that has the card that you're looking for. Hopefully there'll be some kind of like chat system in game. You can message them and say, hey, I'm looking for this card. Can you throw this up for a trade? Or we don't really know how the whole system is going to work yet, but you can only assume that there has to be some way to communicate what you want to trade someone for. Unless, like, you know someone in real life and they have one of your cards, and you can just tell them, hey, add me in game, and then we can trade. That would be nice. Also, I do have a Discord server where we're gonna have a trading section where you can like just put your ID in there, ask for what card you want, and then someone else can be like, hey, you know what? You have that card, I want this card, and then you guys can add each other and trade through the Discord. So there is a link in the description for that, so make sure you join for when trading drops. But anyways, trades can be done with cards of the same rarity. So I suggested this on some of my previous streams. I've talked about this before. I thought they would do rarity locking. They don't want you to be able to trade a basic Pokemon for a 1-star or something that would really, I guess, wouldn't really make any sense. So if you're going to trade an EX Pokemon, you need to have an EX Pokemon of the same rarity. I mean, yeah, most people assume that this was going to happen. This is not a huge shock to me. The third bulletin point here is, at the time of the trade features launch, certain cards from Genetic Apex and Mythical Island booster packs will be able to be traded. We are planning to continue to expand the selection of booster packs that you can trade from. So the way I'm interpreting this, of course, we're going to be able to trade Genetic Apex and Mythical Islands, but when A2 set drops, I don't think that's going to be available for trading right away, which I think most people also kind of assume that too. I mean, it wouldn't really make much sense from a business perspective if they were to release a whole new set, and instead of buying new packs to complete it, players just traded with other players. It would kind of impact the business a little bit. They also do mention we're going to try to continue to expand the selection of booster packs you can trade from. So I expect probably like a month after A2 drops, those cards will be available to trade. They're just going to make us wait a little bit for that. From a business perspective, this makes sense, but as a player, I would have loved to trade A2 cards to you guys as soon as it dropped. And I'm also curious, they said certain cards from Genetic Apex and Mythical Islands. So what I think they're trying to say is in the next bullet point, actually. It says cards with a rarity of 1 diamond to 4 diamonds and 1 star can be traded. So this was actually leaked on Twitter the other day, about like, I think earlier this week. So this means 1 to 4 diamonds is pretty much your whole entire basic Pokédex, and 4 diamonds, I believe, is art that kind of looks like this, these different type of cards. So if you're looking, for example, you want this cool art of Dragonite and you haven't pulled it yet, you can go get that now. You can just trade with your friend and easily get it, but you're gonna have to trade the same rarity, so remember that. Also, 1 star is just any EX Pokemon. So if you're missing an EX, like say you need another Charizard, you'll easily be able to get that now. I kind of like this. I wish they would have opened the rarities, but it also makes sense because if players have spent a lot of money and they've collected their favorite rare cards, if everything is tradable now, that rarity just plummets. So maybe more pay-to-win players are happy with this, but I tend to side with the free-to-play players more, and I think that like it would be nice to be able to trade your ultra rare card. I also kind of get it because people have made separate accounts where they reroll until they get a gold, and then they would want to trade that to their main account. So it also stops that from happening. I don't know. I'm not really sure how I feel about this, but let's move on to the last point here. Items must be consumed in order to trade. Now, we don't know what those items are, but I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that that's going to be Stardust. Everyone has a ton of Stardust, and the only thing you can do with it so far is unlock different flares for your duplicate cards. And in my mind, it makes sense that Stardust is used for trading. I think we had something like that in Pokemon Go too. I'm not really sure, I haven't played in a while, but I think there's Stardust in that game too. So the last part is they say they'll continue to monitor player feedback and assess future updates. And then they also say the next booster packs are planned to be added this month. So we don't have any dates in this statement, unfortunately, but again, the leaks for trading were all correct, and I'm assuming the leaks for A2 is probably correct too. So I would expect to see A2 and trading on the 29th of this month. So my final thoughts to wrap this video up is I think trading is great for this main reason. I played a game called Duel Links in the past, and Duel Links dropped a new pack, a new set every month. And with every set, obviously a power creep happens. Decks and cards get better and better and better. And then those old decks are useless, but there's specific cards out of those old decks that are really good in any deck. So for example, Sabrina or Giovanni, you're probably going to be able to throw those in future decks, but you can only unlock them from the genetic apex sets. So say a year down the line, someone wants to use Sabrina, but they just got into the game, they're a new player, they don't have access to it, and they don't want to go all the way back and waste all of their hourglasses on one of those really old sets, because most of the cards are useless in there. So trading is going to allow them to go back and get those old cards. Maybe they just need one or two for one of their new decks. So it's really good for new players coming into the game, and it's going to be super helpful down the line when you need a card that you just never ended up pulling from one of the older sets to complete one of your decks. So I think this is actually great. I like trading in this game. Trading does not exist in a lot of other online card games, so I'm glad they're doing this. I know it helps out free-to-play players a lot. You're also going to be able to complete your Pokédex way faster too. So overall, I think this is a huge win for free-to-play players. It could be a little bit better, of course, if they let us trade any rarity, but all in all, this is going to future-proof the game so that new players can come in and collect what they need very easily. Now, again, you're going to need a friend to be able to do this with, so make sure to join my Discord. We're going to have a trading section in there. You can talk to people, you can add people, you can play with them through that. This is a very social game, it seems like, and they really want to push it in that direction. So I'm glad that's their goal, and I think they're doing good. I mean, obviously, I would like to trade gold cards, but it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's all the information we have right now, and I'll see you guys in the next video.